Welcome back, Patriots. If you're just tuning in, this is Sons of Liberty. I'm your host, Bill Bailey, here from my hidden area in northern Michigan. Actually, not so hidden. Pretty easy to find anybody in today's world. So, folks, just a couple of thoughts I want to share with you. A short video. I'm out working on the yard today, cleaning up grass, leaves, raking leaves, hauling the piles of leaves and dumping them in the garden for compost. Need to put the snowblower on our tractor, and I'm pretty much ready for it to snow. We've got our 2 years of wood in. Just cleaned the chimney today, so we're ready for the white stuff. I like the snow. Other than this winter, unfortunately, is going to be brutal for a lot of people. So we know about the diesel, right? There's 25 days of diesel remaining, if 18 days. There definitely is shortages out east now. They're feeling it. I know Tucker Carlson said we're going to run out of diesel by Thanksgiving. I actually think he's misunderstanding that we're meeting production demands every day, but if something in the system breaks, we've only got 25 days of diesel left. But I'm not sure. So err on caution on that. But they're definitely having production issues out east, and there is a shortage of diesel. So that is true. But this illegitimate administration is just destroying us. I think it's all on demand. On purpose, by the way. So here's the big story I want to talk about today. The Biden communists have admitted now that we have boots on the ground in Ukraine. They're advisors. Remember how this started in Vietnam? You historians or people older than me, started, I think, in the 50s. We were advising, and then we were freaking fighting the war, and 70,000 of our young men died in an unnecessary war, and many, many more that had PTSD, and we weren't really treating it at the time, that committed suicide back in the day. And war sucks. So there's that. It sounds like Putin is convinced that Britain and America were behind blowing up their pipeline. I got to tell you, I believe it. And I'm not hauling water for Putin. Don't ever think I'm an ally of Putin. He's a murdering KGB thug. Have no respect for him. Love the Russian people. Love the Ukrainian people. But I've still said this isn't our war in Ukraine. If Putin was a megalomaniac like Hitler and went blitzkrieg, taking one country after the next in Europe, sparing nothing, blowing everything all to hell. But this has been a ongoing border war between Ukraine and Russia for like 6 years. Ukraine was part of Russia voluntarily for many years. They speak the same language. They have family in each country. I've looked at this as more of a civil war. But regardless of that, I just don't think it's our war. I'm not willing to send Americans, young men and women, over there to die for another stupid war. And I've said also that and I don't have any love for, obviously, Zelensky or the puppet government in Ukraine, where they're laundering money more than likely, and definitely have some biolabs that it sounds like America's involved in, which is a big no-no. So, and if Putin would march across Ukraine and attacked a NATO nation, then I'd say, you know what? It's war, man. He brought it on. Let's go get him. But that hasn't been the case. But this administration wants to treat it like that's the case, and working hard to ignite World War III. That's where this is heading. So keep your eye on that. It's just not looking good, folks. Hope you're prepping. I always have my Patriot affiliate link in the description here, and if you use that link, this channel gets a little love for My Patriot Supply. Same thing with My Pillow. Our discount code at My Pillow is SOL 1773, no spaces. SOL 1773. So I hope you're prepping and stocking up, because it's going to be a tough freaking winter, folks. Natural gas is up, propane is up, heating oil is up, groceries are up, gasoline is up. There's nothing good. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It just is what it is. Then lastly, what I want to talk about is selective service, okay? Many of you may not know, but the draft boards are intact, okay? There's 2,000 draft boards in this country, staffed by people in your community. I didn't know this till a few years ago. I happened to meet Richard Davis, who was a local celebrity here that invented body armor. True story, look it up. Look up his YouTube videos where he's shooting himself. Because when he came out with a little sidebar here, when he came out with the bulletproof vest, everybody thought it was BS. So he went to these police, meetings, get-togethers and, stuff like that. He'd get on stage and say, "My name's Richard Davis, and I've invented the bulletproof vest, and now I would like to demonstrate it for you. This is the 44 Magnum, one of the most powerful handguns in the world." And then he would proceed to shoot himself in front of the crowd. He was selling vests, man. At one time, he was, huge. I think two couple plants in Europe, but then a couple of he went through some, wife issues, a couple of them, I think, and got sued once for something. But the company was doing really good. Him and his son were running it. Another name it's opened up under, and selling these TACT, state-of-the-art vests. They've come a long way since he originally invented them. And then they sold the company, and that was our big manufacturer here in Central Lake, and now they moved it to, which I knew would happen eventually, to North Carolina, Virginia, somewhere down that way. I digress. So anyways, with Richard, I was met him at the lumber yard, and I was talking to him, and I showed him a place. He's putting up some big political signs. He's a Republican, back during an election, might have been 2016. And he said, "I'm on the draft board." And I go, what do you mean draft board? We're sitting on the side of the road talking. He goes, "Well, yeah, they're still maintained." He goes, "I was appointed. I put in an application. I was accepted, and I'm on the draft board." And I go, "Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know we still had the draft." He goes, "Oh, they maintain it because if we need to reinstate it, they want it ready to go. So that's where it continues to be." And he had mentioned back then that it was weird. They sent out a memo to all the draft boards to get the names, home addresses, and contact information for all the veterinarians, that you could get your name, which he goes, "I thought that was a little weird, but apparently that's what they did." So know that the draft board is ready to flip the switch, and it's ready to go. Go to Selective Service look it up yourself. And so 18 to 25-year-olds, if this thing in Ukraine goes the way I'm thinking it's going to go, because they're not meeting their quotas for our volunteer service. They're missing their mark by 50%, okay? No one wants to go in the woke military. No one wants to go in with Biden as the commander-in-chief. I don't trust that guy. Sure as hell wouldn't trust him if I was a kid, and I wouldn't trust him with my son or daughter. So the draft is ready to go in a moment's notice. There's no more, during the Vietnam War, if you were in college, skip to Canada, where the son or daughter, or they weren't so many women being drafted then, of a, congressman or something, you got to pass, right? That don't happen no more. Their kids are going too. So know that if this war continues the way it's going, if it goes nuclear, it's going to be the shortest world war ever, right? But in the short term, they may need bodies on the ground, boots on the ground, and it could be your son and daughter. And so any of you people out there that thinking, fighting Russia is a good thing, you may not feel that way when they're drafting your kids. And I am for a strong military, peace through strength. But we have woke generals. We have a feckless, brain-dead leader is the commander-in-chief. And we are not in the mental position. Trump rebuilt our military with state-of-the-art stuff. He ran our debt up doing it like $2 trillion because Obama depleted it. Literally some of our, I don't know if it was mortars or some weapons, we hardly had enough ammunition for them. And Trump this is the function of government. I mean, Trump gets it. So anyways, I just wanted to let you know that the draft remains. The draft boards are intact. I think there's 2,000 of them. They're manned by men and women, and that it can be clicked on tomorrow. And they'll be drafting. They do it through a lottery system. But It's just, not good, and I think people need to be aware of it. And just hoping, nobody's talking peace, folks. I think peace can be had in this deal. And when we're sending the 101st Airborne in, and then sending people in, our men into Ukraine right now, I don't think that leads to peace. I think if somebody was to sit down, seriously work at this between Putin and Zelensky, that you could come up with a deal. And I just don't see it. I mean, it seems like they're marching us toward World War III. They're fast-tracking it, matter of fact. So, and with this, we're just a few days away from the most important midterm election in the history of this country. Not only do we need to save America, but by saving America, we save the world and maybe stop this madness that's heading toward World War III. So I will tell you, vote like your life depends on it, because it does. Vote like your family's life depends on it, because it probably does. If you can get 20 people to go out and vote, people that kind of don't vote once in a while, start making phone calls. Say, I will take you with me. I will pick you up. We can go to the polling location together. I'll buy you breakfast. Whatever it is, we've got to get the vote out. Matt DePerno, a latest Detroit News poll, shows Matt 1% behind Dana Nessel. Definitely within the margin of error. They do tend to disproportionately poll more Democrats by 5% or so than they do Republicans in polls. Republicans like myself, we just don't partake in polls. We don't want to show our hand. But let's not figure that. Let's figure the polls are spot on and Matt's down 1 point. We don't want to lose by getting rid of these communists by a few votes, folks. I mean, we've got to get the vote out. We've got to do what we did in 2020 plus. So that's it. I'm going to get back to raking leaves up and hauling them to the garden. We did that last year. We put a few of our dead leaves in the garden. Not nearly as many as I'm hauling this year. And we had a lot better garden this year. So I think it really helps. So we're going to continue to do that. Composting is key with gardening, and something we're learning. So God bless everybody. Have a great rest of your week. Let's just close this deal and bring this red frickin' tidal wave on Election Day. All right, let's be celebrating on November 9th, big time. I'll see you later. Bye.